It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, my friends, it's that time again. Yes, it's that crazy time again, election time. November 3rd is the day that I can't wait till it's over with, as well as thousands of you out there feel the same way as I do. However, we have to face the facts and we have to see what's going on in life, and because it involves us. Needless to say, this is a crazy election. I think you'd all agree with me. But we have a series of people coming on the Sam Lesante Show talking about the respective offices that they want to go into. And what better way now, because you can't have the meetings and the gathering groupings, than just come on the show and let you know who that person is. And why should you or should you not vote for that person? Starting off the series is P.J. Symons. Now, he's no stranger at all to Schuylkill County. He's been the pathonetary there for 16 years. It's the 123rd Pennsylvania District. P.J., how are you?
Great, Sam. Thank you. And I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to get my message out to your viewers.
I'm glad you accepted. The thing is that, as I said, you know, you've been around, I've been around, and you see today what's going on, and just like, you said something that I think was, that we talk about. You know, when you debate, okay? But after the debate, you should be able to sit down and have a cup of coffee or a beer or whatever with the person you're debating with. And you said something that I really wish people would remember. If you see 3 Trump signs and 4 Biden signs across the street, or after the election, you would hope that the neighbors would be neighbors.
They'd be neighbors again, sharing their cup of tea,
yeah,
or borrowing a cup of sugar or something, yeah, like that. You know, and you're seeing that right now. And I think they're out trying to outdo each other. And I understand that they want to support their candidate, and you know, by showing their sign support, I guess they're showing you get 3, I'll get 4. But I believe after it's all over, I'm sure in Schuylkill County it will be, everybody will be friends again, and they'll respect their president, whoever is elected.
I hope so. I've been in Schuylkill County on Comcast 190 there. Now we're on from 7 to 11 p.m. But I've been there since the millennium, 1999. Channel 7, now it's Channel 190. I found the town and the people to be absolutely fabulous. I mean, I was mentioning about Mayor Riley. You know, I mean, I think he was one of the finest mayors and gentlemen, and always doing things for the town. You knew him, right?
Oh, John, I see John every once in a while. He just had knee surgery not too long ago, and he's still getting around pretty well. But John was the type of mayor and a true politician. He took care of everybody, both sides.
Yes.
Republican or Democrat, didn't matter. When you talked to John as the mayor, he was out to help everybody. You know, and that was someone that I looked up to. And I still look up to John, and I still go to John for advice sometimes, because he's full of knowledge, and you want to get that knowledge, you know.
We were talking about substance, all right? And so people, you know, who you want to support, but what do they bring to the table? Now, I don't care what color you are, nationality you are. If you have the knowledge, well, then vote for that person who could bring a lot to the table. Now, I said to you before, your background, for those people who do not know P.J. Symons, tell me a little bit about your background.
Okay, I became a 4th-generation railroad worker. I was hired in 1974 on the Reading Railroad in the shops and got laid off. And I got hired out in the track department, where I stayed at the track department and worked my way up as a laborer up to supervision. And in 1995, I ran for pathonetary of Schuylkill County.
Why did you decide to run for office?
You know, I always wanted to get involved and help the public and help the people. And I'll tell you, one of the things about the pathonetary's office was very interesting to me is it's a civil division. There's the criminal division and the civil division. So the civil division is very busy. And, you know, there's always filings and appeals and answers. But we did passports also. And when I first got in office, I used to hear people say, well, where do I get my picture taken? And I'm thinking, well, why can't you come to the Prothonotary's office and get everything taken at one time? So we purchased the camera in '95, paid like $450 for it, and we did everything there. We made it a one-stop shop. So then I would hear from people, well, we can't get to the courthouse because our hours are 8:30 to 4:30, and we work. So what I would do was take the camera and the passport applications, and maybe a school at night, going to an English club, going to England, or a soccer event overseas, and I would go and get all their information at night or weekends at a church, and then I would get it all taken care of and take it back to the courthouse and get it sent out. But that was one of the things I like to do is, even though I extended the hours myself, but I always wanted to get involved and help people. You know, I've been very fortunate. You know, being fourth-generation railroad worker, weren't given the position. You was handed down, and you had a tough job. Not only out there working, but supporting the Symons name. You know, you're fourth generation, now your great-grandfather, your grandfather, your father. So you had to go out there and continue that name. That was the hardest part of the job. Oh, you know, the Symons kid over, what's he doing? You know, so, and that's what, so getting involved with politics, I thought I'd get out and meet people and help people, you know. And that was the best part about being a Prothonotar.
Well, you did it for 16 years.
Yes, 16.
Okay, so you certainly did do it a lot. Today's environment, and I say it's crazy, and it is crazy, okay? But that being aside, we still have to have our government. We still have to have things, you know, that we need in life. You're running for state representative, all right? And then why did you decide now? I mean, you want to retire and enjoy yourself. Are you crazy or what? You know what I mean?
Well, you know, I said earlier, I said I'm not at the end of my career. I'm hoping to start another career, you know, and the opportunity, Neil Goodman is retiring, did a great job for many years in office. So I thought with the open position, it gave me the opportunity to run for office and go to Harrisburg and continue to help the people of the 123rd and having that open door policy. So I thought, you know, this is a chance to run, and I'm sure my opponent thought the same thing, and it's an opportunity for both of us and the district, the 123rd, to have good representation.
All right, so let's talk about the issues that we are facing. Now, you know, we're mostly a senior citizens area, okay? Not the young people, yes, but I'm talking about 50 plus, 55 plus. What are some of the issues that you feel that you want to address, and hopefully with your skills you'll be able to convince other legislators in the state of Pennsylvania to work with you?
Well, you know, in our area, and this is election year, so you're going to hear a lot about tax reform. That's one, the infrastructure, the blight, you know, so I'd like to talk a little bit about those, if I may. One is, if I'm elected and I go to Harrisburg, I want to remind the people that are down there for years that keep on saying about tax reform. You know, like you're saying, we have elderly people that have a hard time making ends meet. I would like to go down once and just remind people, let's work together. We have to work together so we can work on tax reform. And I've been saying this. You know, I think the Marcellus shale, we should have a severance tax. There's a lot of product that's leaving the state of Pennsylvania and it's going to other places, and it's not being taxed correctly. I think just taxing a well is not the way to go. I think we should be taxing the materials that are leaving the state of Pennsylvania, that are under our grounds in the state of Pennsylvania.
Have you done research on that?
Yes, a little bit. You know, it's tough to really get a good, accurate reading on a lot of things, and you ask a lot of questions. People don't actually want to give you a lot of information sometimes. So I figure, okay, if I get elected, then they'd have to give me some information, you know. And I go to Harrisburg and remind them that, hey, I'm here, you know, and you know, and they talk about taxes. If they're, you know, I'm all for medical marijuana. We talked about this on other areas with other people. I believe we need to have people taken care of with medical marijuana, but you know, the state of Pennsylvania, if they would pass legal marijuana, and I say this and I'll keep on saying this, I will never vote for the tax on any new, say, marijuana or something else to go to balance the budget. It will go towards property tax. And I think that would be a start, to go down and work with the representatives that are in Harrisburg and, like, again, remind them that's why we're here. We're here to take care of the people, and especially the elderly people, you know. And blight in our area, it's been a problem for a long time. And I think what we have to do there is the laws need to be changed a little bit. People need to be responsible for their properties. If you own one property or 100 properties, you're responsible for those properties. So I think we need to work with the municipalities, the county, the state. We all have to get together. I said, make it a task force that we can go out there and work together, that we can see and try to prevent blight. And another thing that I've been talking a lot about is the highway system. Schuylkill County, 123rd, we have a main road that goes from St. Clair, Pennsylvania to Frackville. It's a grade, we call it the Frackville grade in the 123rd. And we need to have that project put back on the books, so the safety factor of the 123rd. You know, when I worked in the Prothonotary's office, I had a lot of employees that were from Frackville in the Shenandoah area. In the courthouse, people work from all over the place. And in the wintertime, when it would snow, all it would take would be a tractor-trailer truck where the old railroad trestle used to be, a tractor-trailer truck just to go sideways, and it would block up the entire northbound lane of Frackville in the wintertime. So what the people would have to do is detour. And some of the detours they would take would be like the Burma Road or the back roads over into towards Myersville and back up. So I want to go down and work with PennDOT and get our roads improved. You know, you can only patch the road so many times where you have to replace it. We can only repair a rail so many times before you have to replace it. And you know, and the thing is, I think if we repair our roads instead of patching them all the time, our PennDOT workers will be able to go out there and do the ditching along the roads, do the culverts, open up the pipes, stop the water from settling on the road surface, which causes the road surface to rise in the winter and the summer. So that's some of the things that I have to bring, other than my career on the railroad. Also, I was a director with the North Shore Railroad, a little short line, and a great short line. There was the president and there was 3 directors. There was a director of marketing, the director of transportation, and myself, the director of the track department, which I was in charge of road crossings, bridges and everything. But we all had the same goal, to take care of our customers. And we'd probably argue, but at the end of the day, we made the president happy because we came together and we made the customers happy and we made the president happy. So that's another thing that I would take to Harrisburg, that we have to work together. We may argue, we may have different parties, but we have to think about the constituents back on the 123rd, just like as we did on the railroad, where what the president was happy and the customers were happy. So there's some of the issues and some of the ideas that I have in my head, and I hope that the people in the 123rd.
Well, let's go back a little bit here, okay? And I like what you're saying. It sounds good. We were told years ago, when the casinos opened up, PJ, if you remember, that this was going to be the salvation of property tax and school tax. All right, so every legislator was supporting it, okay? And since then, I think it was a Rendell area. I'm not picking on, I'm just saying a Rendell area. And since then, every time, you know, I've had many people like you sit where you're sitting and talk. And I said to you when I came in, I applaud anyone who's running for office today. I really do, because it's a challenge. You take a lot of beatings in. But you know, how then, you know, can I believe the politicians? Because I know, you know, senior citizens still have to pay their taxes. They're struggling to pay their school taxes. They're struggling to pay a lot of things. But people keep saying, oh, it's going to get better, it's going to get better, it's going to get better. But every year they keep doing it, okay? Now, things have happened in the last 4 years. And here, if Trump was Democrat, he'd be saying the same thing. You're faced with an economy that was doing fantastic. The retirements were doing great, and we got hit with COVID. So how do you then, P.J. Symons, go to Harrisburg and talk to the other legislators to take these taxes that they're going to generate for school property and say, do you have the wherewithal to doing that?
Again, you know, any new taxes, and there's going to be something new or down the road. We have to make sure that what we say, that's where it goes. You know, we were always taught that at home.
Yeah, yeah.
Your parents, whenever they tell you something, that was the truth. So I think sometimes when they get to Harrisburg, might forget what we say. You know, make sure that
that's why you run every 2 years.
So and the thing is, you know, you can't run every 2 years and say property tax, and I think the people, you know, and I say this, that if I go down to Harrisburg, get elected, go to Harrisburg, and I don't do the things that I'm saying I'm going to do, then vote me out. But I will be heard. Yeah. I mean, my whole life and friends back home, see, why P.J. Symons? You know, they said, why not Peter Symons? Well, I've been knowing P.J. Symons since I was born, you know. It's Peter James John Symons Jr., you know. So, but the thing is, people know me as P.J. Symons. They know that I'm a doer. I mean, whatever I say I'm going to do, I do. And I want to go to Harrisburg and help the elderly people that I know and see to help with their property tax and try to get the blight under control and, you know, and make it safe for someone that has to go for just for their hospital appointments or to go for their you know, drugs that they need or something. They could be able to have a safe road to do it also.
We got hit with the pandemic, all right, and there's a lot of controversy in Harrisburg about what Governor Wolf did, okay? Some say he really went too far, some say, you know, he's doing fine, some, you know, there's all these things, and, you know, you talk to some doctors and they tell you the masks are not what you should be. You talk to other doctors, you got to wear the mask, okay? So, you know, it's like Dr. Valent said on my show from Lehigh Valley Hospital. He said, we don't have a book on this, so we have to do what we have to do, okay? What would have been your reaction to what the Governor Wolf did?
You know, in the beginning, I understand, you know, everybody stay home for a month and figure this out, you know. Then when it said, okay, let's stay home for 2 more months or another month, that start getting myself edgy, and I'm sure everybody else was getting on the edge. And then when they did start opening it, I agree some of the, I disagree on the way some of the stuff was handled. I think when it came to small businesses, I think all small businesses should have had the opportunity to be open. You know, not just picking one, okay, have them open, but then, you know, if you want to put a percentage of how many people go into their business, okay, but I think across the board, all of them should have been open. I have friends that are in the restaurant business that are really hurting right now. And what the governor did, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. You know, it's the saying is, you know, it's impossible to make everybody happy, but it's a piece of cake to make everybody mad. So whatever you do in his situation. So I think what we have to do now is go forward and open things up. Let the people decide.
You know, PJ, here's the concern that you have. If everyone was honest, like you, okay, and would tell the facts, you could believe that. We have a political year, and you now have the fact that they're saying, you know, the opposite side and say, well, look how many jobs, there's a lot of people out of work. Well, they're out of work because we had to stop the economy, okay? So then you look at, and here again, flip it, if it was the Republican Democrat, okay? Are we playing politics with this pandemic? What's your opinion?
I think you know, it's, if a Republican and Democrat would say the same thing, we'd be in good shape. But
yes.
We're not.
Yeah.
One party's saying this, the other party's saying that. We have to remember, we represent the people.
Period.
So the thing is, it doesn't matter what party you belong to. You got elected. Once you're elected, okay, you can run on the party. I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm independent. But once you get elected, you're the people. You have to take care of the people.
Which leads me to the question I asked you before. Are you going to become a puppet when you go downtown?
No, that's one thing, like I said, no. Everyone knows me back in the district knows that P.J. Symons is not a puppet. And I'm not a yes man. Never was. Anyone I worked with, they say I was always fair, but I was never a yes man. That when I felt that something was wrong, it was wrong, and I made it right, or try to fight to make it right.
Yeah, you know, sometimes when when you're seasoned, it's like a doctor who's been in his practice for so many years. When you come in, he knows, he could tell you exactly what's wrong and what has to be done, but he has to go and take you from step one, or she, so they could educate you, okay? And when you have that seasoned ability, like you have for 16 years, you could go there and you could sense, are they giving you true reports on the coronavirus? Are these people who are getting COVID-19, are they really, you know, are they dying from COVID-19? Are they dying from other things? So, I mean, you have that experience, I would think.
Yes, and the thing is, it seems like you have to be on the inside. You shouldn't have to be on the inside. You should be able to go on I shouldn't be, you know, I shouldn't get the answers. I shouldn't have to go to Harrisburg to be on the inside.
Yeah.
And if I would get the answers, I would be telling the people in the district what is actually going on.
You're in for a challenge, my friend.
Yeah, I know.
I'm talking to P.J. Symons, folks. He's running for state, the 123rd District, Pennsylvania State Representative. It's a challenge, I'll tell you. We'll be back right after this break. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Remember, 24/7, all of our programs on ssptv.com. My email is sam@ssptv.com. Comcast 190 and Pottsville, channel 190, 7 to 11 p.m. every day. And of course, on the Service Electric Cablevision, channel 13 and 513, every 24/7. Of course, we're in Mountaintop in Scranton, but my guest today is P.J. Symons. He's running for state representative in the 123rd District. And as we're talking here, PJ, we have your Facebook up so you can learn more. I always like to learn about the person, whether Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. I'd like to know about that person. What was the past? What are they doing now? Let's take about what would you do now, right now with the pandemic and the businesses. What would be your approach?
Well, right now, I would let it up to the business owner. You know, open it up for them. You know, it's 75% or 50%, but let it up to. We have to open up. I agree. We have to open up. You know, and I like to go out to eat, and I have friends that like to go out to eat, and my friends, some of them know they don't want to come out. That's fine, but you know, some do want to go out. So, and if the restaurant or wherever you're going is not taking care of the place, you'll know and not go back. So it's all about the people who are going to tell you. You know, the restaurant wants their business, they're going to keep it clean. You know, they're going to separate people. So I believe we should open up like they're trying to open up now. Now, if Penn State wants to have people in the stadium, they can. It's up to the individual. You know, let it up to them right now. We need to open up, and God forbid that something would happen. But our numbers are starting to increase again. But locking people up at home is not the idea. It's get them out. People know how to be safe now. They know to wear the mask. If they don't want to go to a restaurant and they don't feel comfortable that the restaurant's not clean, then don't go there. They know that. So I think right now we have to let it up to the individual themselves. The
small businesses, we depended on, you know, like we had to shut down here, then the PPP came out and different opportunities for us to at least survive, okay? What do you feel about different grants and for?
Yes, and again, I belong to the Friendship Fire Company in Inglewood, you know, and I belong to the Elks, and I belong to the Legion, and all these places are shut down now because, you know, they didn't have a food license, or so we should have the fire departments should continue to get the grants. I believe businesses should get help also. We owe it to them. As I believe people in Harrisburg, if I was elected, we'd owe it to them. We shut them down. So we have to help them out. So that's, I think, the attitude that Harrisburg should be taking. You know, we shut you down, okay, we try to keep you safe, but we almost bankrupt you or ruined your business. So now we have to get together, give out some grants to the fire departments. You know, we just had a sale. We do things differently, and that's the people adapt. You know, we at the Inglewood, we had a large block party every year. Everybody came from all over the place. One of the better block parties, I'd say. But we couldn't have that this year. So we had a drive-through. Everybody came through. Everybody was safe. And now last Saturday, we had another food fair, and we had some nice food and some picnic tables. People separated and had their masks. But that's not enough. They're just barely getting by. What they're doing there is they're just keeping the doors open. You know, they still have to pay taxes.
You know, PJ, how long do we have to live? If you can't enjoy your life, you know, especially when you're in your senior years, if you can't enjoy camaraderie, if you can't enjoy, I mean, so it just put a bullet to my head. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's just absolutely, you know, we are human beings, and it's not saying that we're going to be, you know, foolish, but you said it right. You will know whether you want to or you don't want to. PJ, you're running for office that, again, I applaud anyone who's running for office, the 123rd District. People want to know why they should vote for you. There's your camera. Tell them why they should vote for you.
Well, first off, I'm a hardworking individual, and I understand the hardworking people in the 123rd. It's a blue-collar district, very hard workers. I've worked with many of the people in the 123rd that know me, but the most important is that a representative should have open ears, an open mind. Listen to what the people in your district have to say, then go to Harrisburg and represent your district. You know, we don't know everything, but the people that do, we have to listen and take that to Harrisburg and bring that return back to the 123rd. So I'm asking you in the 123rd to please consider giving me your vote. This is the first year where you cannot vote straight. You have to go down and check off every individual. So I appreciate, look it over, do some little bit more research, but again, appreciate your support.
Well, it was nice meeting you. I think we met a while back, you said.
Yes, we did. Yes, we met a couple times.
I wish you and everyone who's running for office the very best. And if you win, do what you just said on the show, and I think people will be very happy with you.
Well, if I don't, Sam, you can call me back.
I will.
And crucify me here and tell me everything that I said I was going to do and that I didn't. You can remind me.
I still envy your son who's in Florida and he's a golfer. Okay, God bless him. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, I have a granddaughter. My daughter lives in the area. But my son, he became a golf pro, and now he's...
So promise me something. You tell your son to give me some golf lessons.
I will,
okay,
I will. But it has to be 55 degrees or warmer because he won't come home.
Remember, folks, November 3rd, I know it's a crazy year, but we have to vote, okay? And look, if you're strong about a candidate, that's wonderful. If your neighbor is strong about the other candidate, that's wonderful. And you'll, be civil after the election, say hi to your neighbor, and just let's get back to civility. We'll see you next time.